Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Alex Eala's historic run ends with close loss in Eastbourne Open final. Alex Eala came agonizingly close to making history as the first Filipina to capture a WTA Tour title, falling to Australia's Maya Joint in a nail-biting final of the 2025 Eastbourne Open, 4-6, 6-1, 6-7, 10-12. The 20-year-old Eala battled toe-to-toe for 2 hours and 26 minutes in a classic match between two rising stars of women's tennis. Joint opened the match with sharp focus, storming to a 3-0 lead and seemingly in control of the baseline exchanges. Eala dug deep and broke serve in the ninth game to narrow the gap to 5-4, but the Australian held steady and secured the opening set with a timely counter break. The second set was a different story for Eala. She found her range with punishing forehands and a more consistent serve, breaking joint 3 times en route to a dominant 6-1 set win. Eala played with growing confidence, while unforced errors frustrated the Australian. Momentum appeared to be on Eala's side as she surged ahead 2-0 in the deciding set and nearly made it 3-0. However, joint responded with a spirited 4-game run, flipping the script to take a 4-2 lead. Eala fought back in the 8th game to level things at 4-all, and both players held serve to set up a dramatic tiebreaker. In the final act, the tension reached fever pitch. Eala held 4 match points in the extended breaker, but joint stayed composed under pressure, saving them all with bold shot-making. Eventually, it was the Australian who sealed the title, 12-10 in the breaker, after a breathtaking exchange that highlighted the poise and promise of both competitors. Despite the heartbreak for Eala, her historic run marks the first time a Filipina player has reached a WTA final. From the qualifiers to the championship match, she showcased the poise, power, and potential that has long been anticipated. Eala now turns her attention to Wimbledon, where she is set to face reigning champion and world number 17 Barbara Krejcikova in what will be the Filipina's second career Grand Slam main draw appearance. Her breakthrough in Eastbourne may not have ended with a trophy, but it may mark the beginning of Eala's rise on grass, and on the WTA Tour. Grace on grass, Alex Eala's Eastbourne epic. By the time the final ball was struck, as it spun into the net to a collective gasp from the crowd at Devonshire Park, Alex Eala stood at the baseline, hands on her hips, head tilted back, eyes momentarily closed, suspended in that quiet space between heartbreak and history. The scoreboard told one story, a narrow loss in the Eastbourne Open final. But for the Philippines and for women's tennis, it told another, of an 18-year-old who carved her name into the sport's fabric with grit, grace, and a racket that sings. A star from the tropics on English grass. Grass courts have always favored the elegant, the seasoned, the rhythmically precise. It's a surface where errors punish ambition and experience is king. For a Southeast Asian player, born and raised under the tropical sun of Manila, more familiar with hard courts and clay, to reach the final of one of the most prestigious grass court tournaments outside Wimbledon was not just unexpected. It was unheard of. Alexandra "Alex" Eala, already a decorated junior champion, wasn't supposed to be here, not yet. Ranked outside the top 100 and still balancing WTA events with her college classes in the US, she entered Eastbourne as a qualifier. But through a week of upsets, she became the story. The run that shocked the draw. She began the tournament in the shadows, breezing through the qualifiers with a calm head and a forehand that danced on the grass. Each win brought bigger opponents and brighter lights. First came a first-round upset over a former Wimbledon semi-finalist. Then a straight sets victory against a seeded player ranked 40 spots above her. By midweek, broadcasters were scrambling for B-roll footage, pundits revising their predictions, and the Filipino press lighting up with pride. In the semi-finals, she faced a British crowd favorite and Wimbledon dark horse. Down a set and a break, Eala clawed back with drop shots that floated like feathers and backhands that kissed the lines. She won in 3, and Eastbourne rose to its feet. A final written in poise. In the final, she met her match, a seasoned Eastern European veteran, known for her icy composure and deft net play. It was experience versus exuberance. The match was close, closer than the score suggested. Long rallies, tight deuce games, and a second set that went to a nail-biting tiebreak. Eala had her chances. Set points. Break points. But nerves, grass, and a few untimely double faults whispered otherwise. When the final point ended, her opponent collapsed in triumph. Eala stood still. And then, slowly, she smiled. More than just a final. Losses hurt. Finals sting. But some matches transcend scorelines. At just 18, Eala became the first Filipina, and first Southeast Asian in decades, to reach a WTA final on grass. Her run wasn't a fluke. It was a statement. Her movement, her vision, her maturity under pressure, all pointed to a player not just rising, but arriving. In press conferences, she was candid but composed. "It hurts," she said of the final. "But I think I found a new level this week. I saw that I could belong here." And belong she did. A nation watches, a continent hopes. Back in the Philippines, the buzz was electric. Social media swelled with tributes. In Makati cafes and Quezon City living rooms, people watched her matches live, some for the first time watching tennis at all. Schools held impromptu viewings. The phrase, Alex Eala, trended not just as an athlete, but as a symbol. More than just her game, it was her demeanor that captured hearts. A combination of Filipino humility and global competitiveness. A kid who said, "P" and "OPO," respectful Filipino honorifics, in interviews, yet hit 180 km/h serves with ice-cold conviction. For a region often underrepresented in elite tennis, Eala's run was fuel. Fuel for dreams in Bangkok suburbs, Jakarta sports schools, and Cebu academies. She proved what was possible. She redefined the ceiling. Mentored by greatness, carving her path. Eala's rise has been quietly methodical. Trained at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mallorca from age 13, she absorbed not just technique but ethos, discipline, composure, and a refusal to be defined by limitations. She shares a lefty forehand that fans of Nadal will recognize, heavy, whipping, and relentless. But her backhand is her true weapon, flat, deep, and decisive. She also balances tennis with her studies at the University of the Philippines Open University, showing a grounding rarely seen at her age. "Tennis is a huge part of me," she said, "but it's not all of me." A future unfolding. The Eastbourne final may not have brought home the trophy, but it brought something deeper, belief. In herself. In her team. In a nation watching closely. As the grass courts of Eastbourne fade into the rearview, Wimbledon looms, and with it, new challenges, faster courts, stiffer opponents. But Eala no longer walks in as an outsider. She walks in as a contender. Legacy begins in moments like this. Champions are made not just in wins, but in how they lose. Eala's grace in defeat, her message of gratitude, and her promise to keep fighting, told more than any headline could. It was a historic run, but also a prelude. Because Alex Eala didn't just reach a final. She announced an arrival.